Ever wonder what happens to the water that drains down your kitchen sink or shower? If you live in a town large enough to require a public sewer and municipal water system, like Manchester, that water is collected and eventually finds its way to the town's water treatment facility, where it's gradually purified and returned back for use. Most of that happens almost invisibly, and the techniques in place to make sure the water is decontaminated work so well and reliably that it seems almost automatic. But a lot goes on behind the scenes to make it so, and on Thursday, May 30th, the blinds were pulled away a bit for Water Day in Manchester to give the public a close-up look at how the municipal water system actually works. There's a lot more to it than you think, and it works with a combination of technology and Mother Nature. Eric Severance, the town's water and sewer superintendent, takes us for a tour.
This is our office lab, command central, if you will. Just basic. We have our file storage. We have a small laboratory where we have daily monitoring that we have to do on the sewer treatment process, and a little tiny bit on the drinking water. We have chlorine residual. Dissolved oxygen is that device. This is a pH and a temperature device. This is what we call settleable solids, which are all daily testing that we do throughout the treatment process in several spots. At the effluent, at the end of each of the primary and secondary lagoon, and at the headworks where it enters the plant. This device here happens to be in here. This is this continually monitors the chlorine in the drinking water system.
The facility handles an average of 300,000 gallons of water a day from both the town and the village.
Sometimes we can get down to around 2 to 250. High spring runoff or high groundwater situations, we can get upwards of 400,000 to 500,000. Big rainstorms, as compared to these last couple floods we had, it went up above 1 million gallons a day for those couple days. Everybody who's connected to town water and sewer, or sewer, I should say, it comes here. From here, this is just, I'll show you the beginning of the process. Okay, this is what we call the headwork. This is the beginning of the treatment process at the plant. The raw sewage is entering the plant right here. There's two pipes. The pipe is coming from the village. The larger diameter pipe is coming from the center, which is a pumping station that will come on. It comes on every 5 to 10 minutes. So there's nothing coming out of it now, but it will come. It goes through what we call a bar rat, and then the solids will settle out. Some of the heavier solids will settle out, and this is the next step is the combinator, which grinds up solids that have gotten through the process. So from here, it just leaves the headwork process and goes out of this lagoon, the primary lagoon. And from here, the treatment process is very simple. You just hold it in a pond, you give it air, and Mother Nature does the rest. The same exact thing happens in all rivers and waterways. Mother Nature has bacteria that works on solids and breaks them down. And that's all, we just hold the water and give it time and let it do its thing.
The wastewater will spend about 90 days in each lagoon before it's ready to be returned for consumption again.
This is what we call our blower building, and these large square boxes you see are blowers, which all they are electric motors driving big air pumps, supplying air through this piping. We only run one at a time. We have multiple for breakdown reasons or maintenance reasons. But it goes through the air piping, and there's two pipes going down into the floor that one goes to each lagoon. So they're leading out to these lagoons, and you can see the bubbles coming up in the lagoons. And that is the key to the whole process. Mother Nature's bacteria does the work for us. They feed on oxygen. They need the oxygen to do their work for us. So we have to maintain the oxygen in the lagoons for that reason. And that's the biggest, most important part of the treatment process, besides the chlorination in our treatment process, which our treatment process is very simple and easy to maintain compared to larger industrial communities who have more complicated wastewater treatment because of their waste is much more harmful and needs more treatment. Part of this is called the transfer structure. This is just a structure that transfers the flow from the primary lagoon to the secondary lagoon. Hand wheels, you see, are valves that we can redirect flow for maintenance reasons. Normally it's just going straight through from coming in this one and going out that one. But if we need to bypass either lagoon, these other two are bypasses so that we can bypass the flow around the lagoon while we maintenance it. All built into the plant for maintenance reasons, which are very handy sometimes.
From there, we headed over to the second lagoon.
This is almost as clean as your average if you had a pond in your backyard, a fish pond in your backyard, simply because it's not drinking water.
Ah, okay.
And neither would you do that in your backyard pond. But this pond has fish. We have wildlife. We have turtles. We have several species of ducks and geese that we see here regularly, and raptors. The primary lagoon does about 80% of the treatment, and this polishes it, or the secondary treatment. So,
all right.
This is what we call the chlorine contact chamber. We inject chlorine at the beginning of it. It comes into this structure, and the purpose of this structure is to retain the flow while the chlorine does its job. We have to inject chlorine as part of our discharge permit requirements, and that kills the pathogens before it goes to the river. It comes out of the chlorine contact chamber here, and then we inject another chemical called sodium bisulfite to take the chlorine out before it enters the river. It enters this structure, which is a flow monitoring structure. Its sole purpose. We monitor the flow all the time and report how much is coming through the plant. All we do is measure the level over that V-notch weir, and that's how much we know how much the flow is coming through the plant.
Then from there, it's back to the Battenkill River.
You can't really see it, but the discharge is a large, probably 16 or 24-inch pipe sticking up in the bottom of the river right there. I know where to look. It's kind of a darkish spot right there.
From rainfall from the sky to a flowing river, water is used and used again. But having the modern convenience of water on demand requires a lot of infrastructure many of us don't see or even think much about. But it doesn't happen automatically. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.